Dopamine fasts have taken the self-improvement world by storm. People refrain from engaging in activities that give them easy dopamine, scrolling through social media, enjoying an after-work drink, snacking around, or watching TV. It's about becoming more mindful and less dependent on those habits. But wait, doesn't this somehow sound familiar? Isn't this what Stoic philosophers preached us ages ago when they were talking about letting go of external dependencies and seeking voluntary discomfort? In other words, did Stoics knew it all along and are dopamine fasts just a clever rebranding of ancient wisdom? Let's unravel that together in today's video. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Flow Lab channel where we discuss psychological science, productivity and flow states. My name is Jonas and I'm co-founder at Flow Lab. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and when hitting the bell you get notified when we upload new videos. Also check out our meditation app to improve your mental fitness and find more focus, motivation and flow. The download link and a 50% discount code are in the description. Don't we all know these nasty compulsions that keep us from achieving our goals? Picture this. You're trying to be productive, but suddenly your hand sneaks towards your phone and before you know it, you're knee deep in a social media rabbit hole. Or you're determined to eat more wholesome food, but suddenly your hand transforms into a sneaky snacking ninja, reaching for the bag of chips and sabotaging your well-intentioned goals. Sound familiar? More and more people, from entrepreneurs to neuroscientists, suggest a dopamine detox. Quitting these habits for a while to break the addiction and become more mindful again in our behaviors. We have an entire playlist on this topic, including where we dive deeper into the science behind dopamine fasts, and another one where our head of content Eva did a 1-week dopamine fast herself and documented what happened. The idea is straightforward: being mindful of impulsive behaviors and consciously resisting the urge to engage in them. But is that really new? Because some see a connection to Stoic philosophy. Stoic philosophy is an ancient school of thought that originated in Greece and flourished in ancient Rome. It offers practical guidance on how to live a fulfilling life by focusing on principles such as wisdom, virtue, and tranquility. At its core, Stoic philosophy revolves around the idea that we have control over our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes, while external events and circumstances are largely beyond our control. When diving a bit deeper, yes, dopamine fasts share aspects with some core principles of Stoic philosophy. Both advocate for letting go of external dependencies. Stoics believe that true happiness and inner peace could be achieved by freeing oneself from the attachment to external desires, outcomes, and possessions. They recognize that many of the things we often crave or seek external validation from are ultimately beyond our control. By learning to detach ourselves from these external factors, Stoics aim to find a sense of tranquility and inner freedom. And we find that in the concept of dopamine detox too. It emphasizes letting go of excessive stimuli and dependencies that can contribute to addictive behaviors and hinder our well-being. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a crucial role in motivation, focus, and pleasure. When it comes to excessive stimuli seeking and instant gratification, dopamine is particularly relevant. When we encounter rewarding stimuli or engage in pleasurable activities, dopamine neurons in the brain's reward pathway become activated and release dopamine into various regions, such as the nucleus accumbens. Roughly, this release of dopamine creates a sense of pleasure, reinforcing the behavior that led to its release. It motivates us to seek out and repeat rewarding experiences, leading to seeking instant gratification. In the context of excessive stimuli seeking and instant gratification, the brain's reward system can be hijacked or dysregulated. Activities that provide immediate rewards or intense stimulation can lead to a surge in dopamine release, reinforcing the behavior and making it more likely to be repeated. Over time, this can contribute to a cycle of seeking out excessive stimuli and instant gratification, as the brain becomes conditioned to associate these behaviors with pleasure and reward. And this becomes increasingly easy in our modern digital age, where we are bombarded with constant streams of information, notifications, and entertainment that can hijack our attention and keep us in a state of distraction. Apps, websites, and social media platforms are designed to release dopamine and make us addicted by exposing us to novel, appealing stimuli, by providing us to unrestricted access to entertainment and making it easy to get pleasure without having to put effort into it. Just like Stoics taught us, dopamine fasts too encourage us to take a break from these excessive stimuli, such as social media, video games, or binge watching, in order to regain control over our attention and reduce our dependence on external sources of gratification. We refrain from dopamine-releasing activities for a while to give ourselves time to raise our dopamine baseline level again and break the addiction. Similarly, both are somewhat about embracing discomfort. In Stoic philosophy, the idea of embracing discomfort is rooted in the belief that by willingly facing and accepting hardships, we can cultivate resilience and inner strength. Certainly, our lives are filled with challenges and setbacks, and instead of trying to avoid or escape them, Stoics advocated for actively engaging with and learning from these experiences. Because by willingly subjecting themselves to discomfort, whether physical or emotional, Stoics believed they could better navigate the inevitable ups and downs of life. Likewise, dopamine detoxers willingly take a break from addictive behaviors that give them an instant dopamine rush and confront the discomfort of withdrawal. They're bidding farewell to those instant gratifications and reset their dopamine baseline level and instead find more fulfillment in other, including more mundane aspects of life. Neuroscientifically, it's about embracing the pain you're experiencing after a dopamine peak. Because after feeling pleasure, you soon notice a low, a craving for more, an urge to get more of what gave you pleasure. It's the motivational aspect of dopamine. You want to increase your dopamine levels again and therefore seek the next and the next dopamine hit, reaching for the next snack, lighting the next cigarette. If you want to break the addiction, you need to endure the pain, embrace the discomfort, and give the body time to restore balance by itself. And finally, another core pillar of Stoic philosophy is mindfulness. Stoics believe that by being fully aware of our thoughts, emotions, and actions in the present moment, we can better navigate life challenges and make wiser decisions. They encourage people to cultivate an observing mindset, allowing them to detach themselves from external circumstances and maintain inner balance. And this idea is also somewhat emphasized in dopamine fasts. It's generally more about becoming mindful in the context of our consumption habits and daily distractions, about detecting patterns and learning to resist the temptation to immediately react to urges such as grabbing the phone when having a minute at rest. So, in the end, yes, some of the core principles of Stoic philosophy are also represented in the concept of dopamine fasts. Just like Stoics taught us, dopamine fasts are also about letting go of external dependencies, about embracing discomfort, and about becoming more mindful. And yet, I should also note that the goal of these two practices is not necessarily the same. Stoicism encompasses a comprehensive worldview and philosophy of life and provides guidance on various aspects of life, including ethics, emotions, and relationships. Stoics aim to live in accordance with virtues such as wisdom, courage, and justice, and seek to align their actions and choices with these values. Meanwhile, dopamine detox is more relevant in specific contexts. It primarily focuses on modifying behavior, be it in order to be more productive, more motivated, or happier, and reducing dependency on external stimuli, rather than explicitly emphasizing the cultivation of virtues. But it's still fascinating to realize how principles that people intuitively deemed important thousands of years ago can nowadays be supported by science. Just like people already engaged in practices like meditation or yoga thousands of years ago too, only now do we have the resources to make their positive effects measurable. And while dopamine fasts may not directly originate from Stoicism, it still has concepts in common with it. It gives us specific guidance on how to implement some of the core principles of Stoicism for this particular context, where we try to break our addiction from dopamine-releasing activities. Not as a life philosophy, but rather to become more focused and motivated again, to find a healthy balance between pleasure and pain, and an effective way to deal with modern technology. Philosophy becomes science. I'd be curious to hear, have you ever tried a dopamine detox? Or do you perhaps live according to Stoic principles? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this theoretical discussion, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the FlowLab channel. Your support always means a lot. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your day and see you soon.